Hey everyone, it's Nightlight9, and in this video we are going over the new limited time event Crisis Dungeon Fort Tamblin, showing you how to get an S+. Let's go ahead and get into it, and I'll show you my team setup. We will notice that recommended power is between 188 and 223. I'll go ahead and show you guys the symbol enemy info. This is what I saw basically, is that every single enemy is weak to ice. The other thing I noticed is that it used to be as soon as you went into the dungeon, you could like die right away or retire, and it would show you every single enemy's stuff. This time, I didn't actually have that happen. I got through a little bit of it, and then ended up retiring, and it didn't show me Queen Belgagon's stuff. So I don't know if you actually have to face them now, if they've changed that. Just something to kind of be aware of. Other than that, you will notice that the two sigils that you need are triangle and X. So ice damage, triangle, and X. And I can tell you that the stronger you are with damage, the less you have to worry about the sigils, but we're going to be doing a run that mostly does the sigils. You can see here, these are the immunities and whatever of every single boss. So most of them can be debuffed. There's a few that, you know, are immune here or there, but generally speaking, debuffs are a thing. Okay, now, showing the team setup, I'm using Tifa, Aerith, and Lucia. I can tell you the first time I cleared this, I did use Sephiroth and Tifa. Tifa with her Limit Break Somersault for debuffs, and Sephiroth hacking on the ice damage. But that team was about 200,000 combat power, and I wanted to do this as free-to-play friendly as possible, and also as new player friendly as possible. So this is the team that we are going with. I'll start with Aerith. She's kind of the least important piece of the puzzle, just generic healing, and she does have Triangle Sigil Break. She has Ice Breach. Those are the most important things here. She also has Ice Damage. For sub-equipment here, this is all for heal stats, and HP and physical defense here. So just giving her some survivability, letting her heal. Heal is the highest stat. That's all we're concerned with. Coming over to Lucia. What we're mostly focusing on here, again, is Ice Breach, so stacking off of Aerith. Aerith will go low potency. Bald Eagle here we can then cast right afterwards to give high potency Ice Breach. That will be important. And then also Bald Eagle gives this ice ability damage plus 30% materia slot, so that's our ice damage. We stuck Ifrit on her just for another AoE limit, but there's no real, it doesn't have to be Ifrit, it could be Ramu or whatever you want to bring. Other than that, we have X and Triangle Sigil Break, and then all free weapons here in the sub slots, just giving the best stats overall, with a little bit of a focus to physical defense. Now, last we have Tifa, and she's the heart and soul of this operation. She is our main damage dealer, and I would estimate that probably about 70% of our overall damage is coming out just from Tifa. So, one of the things this stage is, you know, we noticed about it is that we get plus 20% ice potency, and every single enemy is weak to ice. So I chose to use her for this video instead of Sephiroth because I figured more new players might have had access to her banner when they started. Obviously, Sephiroth's Edged Wings banner and his Arcanum came a long time ago. So we are using her outfit for the Ice Frostblade Arcanum. We're using her Holy Flame Gloves for that ice potency and the ice attack, and then Amaranth's Claws just to give us some extra damage boost since we are doing a physical build. We're running Diamond Dust level 5, we are running 2 free weapons that give good stats, and we are running Edged Wings here. It's the only non-free weapon on Tifa, just to give that extra ice potency, because she is our primary damage dealer. Other than that, she has every single type of sigil break. I didn't really need the circle sigil break, could have went with something else, but that's what we're set up to do. Like I said, Tifa's our least free-to-play friendly, quote unquote, but still, you know, using a lot of free-to-play stuff and stuff that could have been gotten pretty recently. Aerith is using, the majority of her stuff is free-to-play, and same thing with Lucia here. In fact, only one of Lucia's weapons is not free-to-play. So that's what we've got here, and without any further delay, we will get right into the run. Alright, starting off, the nice thing about Fort Tamblin is that it's really small. There's not a lot of running around trying to figure out where to go. So, We come into the first boss, which is Reno, and most of his attacks are going to be physical attacks. He's going to start this pyramid pretty soon off the beginning of the fight, and just go ahead and break that down with your triangle and your X. It's really not worth trying to just do damage and ignore this, because it does hurt quite a bit if he gets the flash strike off, and ultimately we are going to be trying to preserve, you know, that max HP percentage. And the strategy for most of these fights is you'll see me jump over to Aerith, use an Ice Breach, then go over to Lucia and use her Dive Burst for the extra breach. And you can see there that high potency Ice Breach. Now, again, because of the way, you know, extensions work, after you get it to high potency, you can always go back to Aerith, hit another regular Ice Breach just to give it a little bit of an extension so that Lucia can be doing more damage. That is something that works pretty well. But otherwise, you know, you get through this guy pretty easily. It's not too big of a deal. It's the first guy. 61,000 points, I think, is a great score. And here, thought about this a little bit, but ultimately just going with regular ice potency plus 5%, because I think we are going to need our defense here. So go ahead and pick up this first potions, and then we'll go over to the second boss, which is the Condor. And again, as usual, going to go over to Aerith, Ice Breach, then go over to Lucia, Diving Burst. That stacks up to high potency, then get over on Tifa, wait just a moment, and then click Freezing Blow. The reason we're giving it a little bit of a delay is that Freezing Blow's animation is faster than Diving Burst, and we want to make sure that there's the full high potency debuff on before we hit with that ice damage. And ultimately, if you just get that high potency Ice Breach on, Fiery Condor goes down pretty hard. A physical attack coming up, but we kill him before that matters. 61 points, or 61,000, sorry, that's good. And here, we're going with physical attack on Tifa, so physical attack makes the most sense. And then we'll come up to the third boss here, which is a little bit, I would say this is considerably more annoying of a fight than the previous two, and so we're going to be trying to knock out this red dragon faster. We start off with the normal combo, Ice Breach and Diving Burst, and then getting over onto Tifa and just starting out. Now here I did use No Mercy just because I know I'm going to use Diamond Dust here, and I wanted to have the absolute most damage I could get out of it. The reason I'm using Diamond Dust on this guy is trying to kill him extra fast, because his sigil phase I think is annoying. It's pretty long. It's only requires triangle. Here it is on the hunt, but he does hit you throughout the sigil break process and do a bunch of annoying mechanics. So I like to just kind of knock him out there. Here again, physical attack is what we're going for. So we're actually going to take the plus 10% because only Aerith's using magic attack, and really she's not doing a whole lot of DPS, so that makes it worth it. Come down here, get these summon charges. This is the bread and butter of the end of our run. Now here there's going to be an add-on fight. It's 3 dogs. They hit pretty hard and pretty frequently like the dogs have been doing lately. However, they don't poison, so just keep your heals up and you should be able to get through them. There's going to be another add-on fight here on the right after we get through this little corridor, and this one's going to be a little bit more challenging if you don't do things in the right order. It's got 2 of those Rangdas, so make sure you target them down first so that they don't get their big ability off and hurt everybody. And after that, we will be heading on to the 4th boss. So on to Queen Baljagon. Took me a while to get that, but I finally think I figured out how to pronounce the name. Anyway, here we're going to use Hellfire right off the bat because we want to kill these dogs. I can tell you, if for some reason you're in a situation where you don't have a summon ready to kill them, target them first because they will be annoying enough to really hurt. Plus the fact that Queen Baljagon likes to do physical defense down. Because of this, if you were using Sephiroth, I would bring Torn Wing as one of his primary weapons so that you can kind of raise physical defense. Most of the enemies in this stage are physical defense people, except for the very final boss. He does the tail laser. Here, Lucia has been, hit with this physical defense down. I knew I was going to use Diamond Dust, which I'm using right now. to try to kill her as fast as possible. And so because of that, I really shouldn't have worried at all about the sigils. I did do a sigil break in the beginning with Tifa instead of an extra freezing blow. If I would have, she would have died here. Instead, we're really close, but unfortunately, Lucia is going to suffer the consequences. So she dies. Not the end of the world, but probably was unnecessary. And that is the 4th boss down. Score of 56,000, not bad at all. And we'll get our final buff. Here, I think it just makes the most sense to go Ice Potency because all 3 members of our party will benefit from that. Whereas if I go, you know, Physical only 2 and Magical only 1. So Ice Potency, I think in 90% of the team setups I can imagine, is going to make the most sense. Here, we're just going to get everybody kind of healed up a little bit. I'm not really worried about max HP because I think we're going to kill this guy pretty fast. Reason being, I'm Blizzard Cocktailing Tifa and using both summon charges so that Tifa can immediately cast when we get into this fight. That's going to be good for 2 reasons. 1, it does a lot of damage right off the bat, and 2, it's going to kill these fire Rangdas. So I'm not even messing around. I'm just going right in on it. And that way I don't have to deal with the Fire Rangda's AoE attack. And yeah, we're good to go. And this is still going to be enough for an S+ run. Remember, I mean, there's really just no point in not using the items because this isn't a ranking dungeon or anything like that. So you just need enough points to get your S+, and that's exactly what we're setting out to do here. Tail Laser is going to hit really hard though, but I can already see from the amount of damage that I'm doing that we'll have no problem clearing him. So I'm not even switching stance because even if I did, if you noticed, he put like a 5-arrow down debuff to magic damage or magic defense. So it would take way too much to clear that off. So I'm not even worried about it. I'm just going to proceed as usual. And there you go. Ultimately, not that hard of a dungeon, mostly because ice damage works against every single boss, so it was extremely easy to set up for, you know, this high potency ice breach and the ice damage. Just simple. They give you all the tools you need, and just at the end of the day, I don't know. I thought this was pretty straightforward. Let me know what you thought. If you had any problems, I'd be happy to try to answer some questions and help. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. I appreciate everybody's support, and as always, thanks for watching.